Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So today we're going to talk about Houston and intelligence. We've got 3 questions coming in. 2 are specific to Houston. The third is related, but kind of separate. The first 2 questions are basically, is the Trump administration's narrative on this accurate? Is it true? And the other question is the Trump administration's narrative on this politically motivated? The answer to both of those is probably yes. If you were to go back in time and listen to a diplomat advising Caesar, you would hear that diplomat try to explain the intent of whoever they're talking about. Try to explain what the other side is going to do. That, summed up, that's intelligence work. Intelligence work is about discerning the intent of the opposition group. So, diplomacy and intelligence work, they go hand in hand, and they have forever. Every embassy ran by every country, everywhere in the world, engages in intelligence work. They all have spies there. Every single one of them. There are no exceptions to this. The history of giving a spy a diplomatic cover goes back forever as well. If you ever meet somebody who is an attaché at an embassy, just assume they're a spy. That's not always true, but you're gonna be right more than you're wrong. This is especially true if they are a legal attaché. They're pretty much all spies. So, the idea that the Chinese government was spying on us, that's a fact. The idea that it was happening at that specific consulate in the way it was being described, 99% fact. Was it politically motivated? Probably, because this is a game. You don't hear about spies getting arrested very often, because it's always preferable to feed the opposition government bad information. That's always a better course of action over arresting them. So the fact that the intelligence agencies chose to make arrests rather than run a disinformation campaign, that was probably politically motivated. But, yeah, it was probably happening. The Trump administration has chosen, we've already talked about it in that video, let's talk about how Trump could win. They've chosen China as the external enemy. They're going to ratchet up tensions any way they can. This is a way to do that. But that doesn't mean that the Chinese weren't spying on us. They most certainly were. Just the way it was handled may have been politically motivated. Probably was. It's really unlikely that they had all of this information but couldn't figure out a way to exploit that information without arresting them. That doesn't seem likely. It's possible, but it's not really likely. Okay, so the side question here is, why are foreign intelligence services spying on our medical research right now because of the public health crisis? The current crisis and Trump's mismanagement of it, his failure to contain it, his failure to control this, it's not just a public health issue, it's a national security one. Any country that is opposition or may become opposition to the United States at some point in the future, they're taking notes. They are taking notes, they're writing down, they're learning everything they can about our response, to include the research and how that research is conducted. They're not really concerned with the final product. That's probably going to be shared anyway. They want to know how it's done because they're trying to determine a window. There are very, very, very few countries that can even remotely hold a candle to the United States military going toe-to-toe. They have to find some way to level the playing field. Trump's failure to manage this showed exactly how vulnerable the United States is to this type of warfare. All an opposition group has to do is wage a troll campaign, casting doubt on medical experts and education in general. Given our cultural bias against intelligence and education, this is really easy. So they run a disinformation campaign at the same time they release something, and we're crippled. We're hit. Then monitoring the research process gives them a window into how long our forces would be degraded by this. So that's what they're trying to figure out. Most times when you're talking about intelligence work, the information itself doesn't matter. It's not about what's found out that's secret. It's how the information was developed or obtained. Right now, they're not really concerned about the final product of the research. They're trying to figure out how the research is conducted so they can disrupt it if they need to, so they can increase that window. Because of the human cost of Trump's errors in this regard, that's what everybody's focusing on. The national security costs of Trump's errors in managing this are huge, and it's something that we're going to be paying for decades. We're going to have to spend tons of money very publicly so other nations know that we've improved our abilities, when the reality is our abilities were pretty good to begin with. The administration just didn't use them. So that's why they're concerned with the research. It's not that medical professionals aren't sharing and aren't cooperating, really. It's more about them trying to figure out how they can disrupt the research process to make us more vulnerable, because the administration showed the underbelly of a national defense issue. It openly displayed a weakness. And every opposition country in the world, or countries that may become opposition, they're trying to figure out how to exploit that. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.